It is so great to be here. I can't even believe it's been 1 year. I was just talking to Sam the other day and just saying it's been a year already. So those of you who are back again, thank you so much. Those of you who have taken a day out of work, those of you who have traveled from quite far away, from the interior, from Fairmont Hot Springs, from Osoyoos, from the Yukon, from all sorts of different places, from Toronto and Ontario, thank you for being here. So I won't take a ton of time this morning, but this is what I wanted to start the day with. When I think about some of the real innovators that I can picture in my mind, I think about what it is that they do. And I think they think differently. I think that people like the people on this slide have, they lie awake at night thinking not just of the work that they're doing and the journey that they're on, but they lie awake thinking about big, big things. Would you agree if you think about these people?
Yeah.
And so my greatest wish for you today is to think. My greatest wish for you today is to think about how what you're hearing relates not only to the job that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, but I want you to think about how it contributes to something much bigger, to the work that needs to be done in the world. And so to start that off and to get you thinking differently about really all that is going on in the world, all that is going on in this, I think, unprecedented time of change and turmoil, economic, environmental, human, social. We are in the middle of it. And I feel optimistic. I know we're going to come out the other side more human, more connected, with greater impact. But we have some thinking to do about how we're going to get there. This is a video, it was actually in 2011. What IBM did is they brought together in New York, I think it was over 750 people from 65 or 70 different countries, global leaders, religious leaders, political leaders. And they did a forum called Think, which actually you can look online. There's separate talks, almost like TED Talks. But this is the highlight of it, and what it talks about is a crisis in leadership. And I feel so optimistic about the talent that's in this room, but I need you to watch this to think about how you can contribute to making that difference.
We gather today amid a growing feeling in the world of a crisis of leadership. Some people look at what is happening and can feel that there's nothing to be done. That our institutions and politics and processes are broken. Allow me to politely disagree. There's always something to be done. It's a well-established truth that every deep crisis contains a major opportunity.
I just went back to the first edition of The World is Flat, which I started writing in 2004. Came out in 2005. I looked in the index under F. Facebook wasn't in it. So when I wrote when I said the world is flat, we're all connected. Facebook didn't exist, Twitter was a sound, the cloud was in the sky, 4G was a parking place, LinkedIn was a prison, applications were what you sent to college, and for most people, Skype was a typo. Okay?
50% of Africa, almost 40% of India in the next decade or 2 decades will be moving towards urban areas.
I think the number's like 77% of the world's consumption is now in developing markets.
It's become very apparent in the last 12, 18 months. Demand is now coming from countries that were traditionally producers.
All great companies have a kind of rowboat mentality. They're rowing hard, but they're looking at the past.
We're very good at heart attacks. We're very bad with cancer. And that is partly the nature of organizations. Large organizations can be mobilized when you face a crisis. They are much more difficult to mobilize when you're dealing with a slow trend that is still eating away at you.
I think big companies, by their nature, slow down, get stifled. I was in a meeting the other day, and we're going through Twitter and Facebook, and can we use it? We have all these laws and restrictions and what we can do. But I said to him, fine, you know what? If they invented the phone today, we wouldn't be using it for 20 years. because you guys would be saying, my God, information is going outside the company, and people can say whatever they want, and you can't control it.
The old model of the heroic Superman or Superwoman is increasingly archaic.
Great ideas can come from anyone, anywhere in the world, as long as you're smart enough to ask for them.
New information technology reduces the cost of communication enough that a lot more people can have enough information to make sensible decisions for themselves instead of just waiting for someone above them in a hierarchy who supposedly knows more than they do to tell them what to do.
If you bring people together, you set them on a very specific challenge, they can unlock bottlenecks and open up channels of innovation that we wouldn't imagine what might come out of it.
This is probably the only time in history where it is the 22, 23-year-olds who know more about the biggest revolution that's changing the world, the social and digital revolution, and more about how to harness and use the power of social media.
There is a whole lot of flow of young people, but there is a lack of talent in the older, experienced set of people. And so we all have to get used to the fact that younger and younger leaders will emerge and younger leaders will lead the corporation.
1, you all have heretics. 2, they are not your problem. They are not your enemy. 3, they are trying to help you. 4, they are probably the start of your solution.
Connectivity is a given. And we all have an interest in working together. Because for all the wonders that technology can do, here's what it can't do. It cannot make our choices for us.
And so if you think that the world hasn't changed around you, this is an interesting picture. If you look, there's an 8-year spread, and this is acclamation of the new Pope and the difference between Francis and Benedict. Look at all of what's happening and think for a moment about what that means. What that means that we are operating in a world where we are all content producers. We are all sharing. We are all living our lives simultaneously. We are all accessing information from so many different places. And to me, this visual is just so powerful because this is only 8 years. And so what I want you to think about is I want you to think about, as you listen to Jody this morning and as you listen to the storytellers, I want you to think about what it could look like. What could my workplace look like? What could my team look like if we thought about this a little bit differently? Because make no mistake, is that picture between the two, kind of 2013 and 2008, those changes are happening in our workplace. Those changes are relevant and important in how people want to interact with us, with each other in the workplace. And things are shifting. And we're moving away, Jody's going to talk about it, we're moving into a different time. How do we think about that? What is the work that needs to be done in our organizations? And I know that sometimes it feels like you're trying to turn a ship on a dime. Sometimes, has anybody ever felt frustrated in trying to move change forward in their organization and feeling like it's this massive, massive endeavor? Anybody other than me? Okay. I know it feels like that. But this is why you're here. Because around you, there's 120, 125 people here who also get frustrated by the same thing. All these people in the room have also worked in teams or organizations where people are going, whoa, hang on a second, we can't go there. We can't do that. No disruptors allowed here. No heretics. We don't do heretics. You're a room full of heretics, and that is okay to be whoever you are today, because that's welcome over here. And so I think that there's people like this little dude in this room. I think that there's people who will gladly take that seat aside from the crowd because they believe in something that's different. They believe that there's a different way. And again, be proud to take that seat. He's smiling. He's not unhappy there. He's totally happy. And so what I would encourage you with and what I would really, really think about is when you are faced with those barriers and those challenges, that whole can't see the forest for the trees, is don't look at the trees in front of you that are coming. Find the spaces between the trees, no matter how small they are. Go around the tree. Find a different path. That's where the light is, and that's where the change is going to happen. And so what is that North Star? That North Star that we're looking for, the change, is a reinvented workplace. That's it. That's our big mission, is what does that look like? What does that do for us to basically have higher levels of engagement, faster speed to market, less stress in our workplace, greater impact? And so over the past 18 months, what we have done is we've actually worked with over 300 organizations, and we've come up with a bit of a GPS, bit of a roadmap that we would like to prove in the next couple of years. And most of you, has anybody downloaded that map? Okay. We're going to talk about that over the course of the next couple of years, and we're going to need your help to do that. Because what we want to create is we want to create a lab. We want to test our theories. We want to see if some of these things correlate to each other. But we need your help. We need a lab to work with. We need some of you to open up your organization so we can come and hang out with you and see if some of these things work. We're partnered up with People Insights, and it's amazing. Already just the people who have completed the survey, what we're trying to do is we're trying to slice and dice. Think about what is that work that we need to do. And this is all your data, by the way. So as this group gets bigger, as we have more data, we're going to have more interesting insights. This one is really interesting. This is about digital fluency. So one of the competencies that we think is going to be so paramount, not just today, but going forward, for us all, to be digitally fluent, to be able to do business and build relationships and resolve conflict in a digital world. And so you look at these questions, like I use social technology as a tool to conduct business effectively. I recognize the risks of using social. I want to stop having conversations in HR about the fact that there's risks with social. There is, but it's the same with the telephone. Let's start having the conversations more around here. I'm able to communicate effectively with customers using social technology platforms. There's a lot of red still there. When you look at this, is there a correlation between, for example, the agility, the ability of a company to move quickly and the size of the organization? Is a $5 million company going to move more easily and faster, and does it have a greater degree of trust than a $100 million company? These are all things that now we're starting to get data points with because you're contributing. And so that's where I would leave you. I would leave you to say that I think that we're at a fork in the road. This is us right here. Impact 99, October 2nd, fork in the road. That's us. And so if you haven't taken the assessment already, you can just go to impact99.ca/assessment. And that's the one small little thing that you can do. And if you want to make it anonymous, you can. If you want to get data back as to how your data compares to the data of everybody else, all you have to do is put your email in, and that's just so that we can get the comparison back to you. But that's just the starting point. That's just you. We have 200 separate people that are filling it out on behalf of their organization. What would it look like if we could do this with your whole team? What if it would look like if we could take the top 100 companies in Canada and actually go into organizations? What kind of correlations could we see? Because it's not enough to just say employee engagement drives results. What is employee engagement? This starts to get more real. And so that's the fork in the road, that's the opportunity, and that's what I would like to welcome you to think about today at Impact 99.